Welcome back to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, coming from my apartment studio. It's not really a studio, it's a laptop with a few items set up. My office studio, my family and I are preparing to head to the lake for the weekend. But I did want to bring you an updated video on some of my thoughts. Now, specifically my thoughts on what has not pumped yet that might be pumping soon. And so, if you follow this channel, that I don't chase large green candles. And the reason I don't just comes down to statistics. I've done it in the past, and more often it worked out worse for me than better. And so when I compare that to when I bought projects that were at lows and didn't have a lot going on, but I felt like they had long-term potential versus chasing green candles, the buying projects that were at lows and what I call boring tend to work way better for me, way better, not even close. And so in general, when I see large green candles, even if I'm very bullish on the project, I don't buy the token related to it. That doesn't mean I don't soak up, absorb, and learn as much about the project as possible. I just don't chase their token because I'm here for investing. And investing, I'm here for massive gains as much as possible. I do balance that across risks, so I don't go into meme coins. I don't go into some of the pump and dump projects that are, don't really have a fundamental value behind the project. I look for solid projects that are adding something to the world, like creating a cost savings for something, or bringing better technology that will help businesses run better, or whatever it is. Also, video gaming space I'm very bullish on because I think video gaming and blockchain are going to have this huge marriage in the future, and that financially it's very rewarding on certain projects that do well. So why don't we spend a little bit of time going over what's going on with the market, and then some projects that have pumped, and then some projects that might be pumping very soon. Sound fair? All right, let me share my screen with you. All right, so here we're looking at Bitcoin's chart, and if you notice here, we have this big move, going up here, and then we have this big pullback here. We had kind of a rounded bottom, and it is absolutely blasted off. Now, I know some are still saying this is what's called, they're saying this is a bull trap, meaning that generally the market's going to be going down, but sometimes it does this last-ditch effort to suck a lot of investors in to buy a whole bunch, and then it just crashes from there. And you actually see that here, right? So it went up and then came back down, and then you see this pump here before this big slide down. Now this was in later February, so later in the cycle than we are now, and it could be the case. However, there's some interesting data that tells me it's not likely the case. Now, interesting data is right here, you had a lot of the wallets holding a lot of Bitcoin for a long time were selling into this pump tremendously. So the question is, are they selling into this pump tremendously? And they're not. There is a little bit of selling, not a lot of selling like we saw here. So that tells me this isn't likely the same as that. So let's look back to the previous cycle, because it seems like in some ways we're running a lot closer to what happened in 2013. And what's funny is this 2013 pump looks so small until we zoom in like this. And you'll see it's actually quite large. In fact, what's interesting is looking at this pump. This was the very large pump, but early in the year they had a pretty good sized pump. It's just this dwarfs it by so much. So what happened early in the year? Well, same time frame as this little pump we've experienced, had a run up, came down. Guess what? It pumped up like this, but do notice it did fool and fake people out to make it look like this was a bull trap. But this was way back in April. The pump was in April, and then still in April 2 weeks later did this, and then later it started to go bullish like this in September. So we're in August right now. In fact, if we zoom in really close, you'll see that in August started making a run up. So July here, and then August started making its run up, and then went a little bit flat in September. Then it was off to the races. Now, when I was new in crypto, my first year, I didn't really understand that Bitcoin follows this 4-year pattern. And this 4-year cycle, and it has to do with the Bitcoin halving that drives part of it, because about a year after the Bitcoin halving, really the scarcity that's now there, because the increasing supply of Bitcoin, the newly minted Bitcoin, goes down by half every 4 years. It takes about a year before the supply shock really hits, and so that there's less supply than there is demand, and all of a sudden the price starts to take off. And as the price of Bitcoin takes off, well, then the price of altcoins takes off. And that seems to be the key factor of what drives this 4-year cycle every 4 years. So 2013, then you see in 2017, this parabolic pump that looks very different than the cycle we are in this year, because they did have this early run, but it didn't happen till June. Then a retracement, another climb with a retracement, another climb with a retracement, and then this parabolic move that went gigantic. So where are we here? Well, we had an early year run, much like 2013, then a big pullback, and then, some people called it was going to go down to 10,000 or 20,000, or some said 4,000. Haven't seen that yet. Might still have a pullback with a little bit more running sideways. It depends on whether there's going to be a one gigantic pump or maybe 2 pumps in this cycle. And I don't know how that's going to play out. So one of the things I do is I don't trade on leverage, because say, for example, I'm investing and I think, okay, on this pullback I was going to buy some Bitcoin, and I buy it on leverage. Well, and that starts to take off. I'm really excited. But then it just does this temporary pullback and then runs up. There's a chance this temporary pullback just liquidates my position. Or I have to put in a stop loss at where I bought. Then I get stopped out, and then it runs up tremendously, and I miss out on a lot of gains. So trading without using leverage gives me the ability to be patient. And patient is one of the 2 most important things in making big gains in crypto. So what's another one that's done really well that requires a lot of patience, but it's one of the projects I'm most bullish on, because I feel like this project has fantastic long-term potential, as well as I'm willing to be patient on it. Now, this is Cardano, and I've talked about them a lot, and it's my largest altcoin holding. Now, they had this big W pattern play out, and then it's taken off to here. Sometimes it then pulls back, and you're seeing that, where the price is pulled back pretty strongly there. Could pull back some more. Then it just might be off to the races even more. So this one's pumped some. My guess is, as they get close to smart contracts, it goes to somewhere between a $3 to a $6 price. And that's just a guess. I don't know that it'll play out. If you draw out the Fibonacci levels, that it's funny how often these come true. We're looking for the Fib retracement pattern from this high. We see these extensions, and the extensions go up to $5.50 essentially, and above 620. Now sometimes even the longer term extension over a bigger time frame works out. Now I also use that number to make my long-term prediction that if it hits that, usually then it will have a big retracement, maybe even as coming back as far down as 240, before maybe having one more gigantic pump left in it that could take it all the way up to as much as $30. Do I know that that will happen? I don't. That is rampant speculation on my part, and definitely not financial advice. Will I still be holding some of my Cardano to sell near that? Yes, just a small amount. I will be selling on the way up. So, can you make money on Cardano? Absolutely. Will you? I don't know. Depends on how patient you are. Depends on how well you buy it at. So, let's talk about some ones that have absolutely pumped, and that has to do with Axie Infinity's AXS token. Now, this is what parabolic looks like, and I do not chase these large green candles. If we were on a traditional chart, you would see all this green, a little bit of red, all this green, a little bit of red, lots and lots of green. That's what I call chasing large green candles. I just don't do it. I don't know how much this can have. Could it double or triple or quadruple or 10x from here? It could. Do I know what it will? Do I know that it will? No. I mean, so 10xing from here would take it to a market cap of 38 billion. That's possible, but the question is, what is your opportunity cost? Meaning, if you had invested in something else, could it have made more? Number two is when you're buying this high already, you're buying at a higher risk point. So your risk has gone way up because it's already pumped so much. The percent chance that there's a bigger retrace goes high. Now the reason I don't chase into these kind of pumps, though I like Axie Infinity, I've made tremendous money off of Axie Infinity. I am not buying the AXS token. In fact, I sold my AXS token when it hit a price that completely got me all my cash out from what I invested in the Axie Infinity ecosphere. So am I bullish on the project? Well, the founders of this project have done an amazing thing, and they created a successful play-to-earn model that's being played all over the world now, and it's being adopted so much, and the revenues for the company are so high, and congratulations to them. I'm really excited for what they've accomplished, not just for them, but for all of us, because I'm really bullish on video gaming and the blockchain ecosystem marrying up. With that said, Illuvium is one of the other projects. This is one of the best ones I've seen in development, with some very skilled video game developers that have worked on AAA level games working on this, and they're developing around a play-to-earn model as well, and I'm very excited about this project. Now, am I buying their Illuvium token at this price? I'm not. Do I think it can go up from here? My guess is it probably will. How high from here? I can't say. I mean, this market cap here doesn't look too bad. It's 275 million, which for scale of this project that it can be, that's not too high. I mean, it could go 10 or 100x from here, but notice something about this when we say that. The current circulating supply is only 634,000 tokens. Their total supply at present is 7 million tokens with a max supply of 10 million tokens. So even if we just use this number, not even 10% of their tokens are in circulation. And I don't yet know what kind of unlocks or other things will dump tokens into this market, because imagine that the other 90% of the token supply came into the market and this price stayed the same. All of a sudden the market cap 10x's, but the price of the token stayed exactly the same. So I would have to know more about in order to make a purchase of their token. Now they are coming on the channel soon, and I will be able to ask them about that, so I'm looking forward to that. Another thing that's absolutely pumped is Meebits, and the floor price has come back down a little bit, which is nice. For some reason, I want to look at price low to high. There we go, and see what the floor price on this is. Now, it did make it all the way up to about 4 ETH floor price. It's then retraced and come back down. My guess is it probably has some more pumps left in it. I do have several of these. I bought them on mint day. I bought 5 of them, and then I bought 2 off the resale market for like 1.3 and 1.5 ETH. So I'm up on this. My guess is these have staying power only because it was done by the same makers as CryptoPunks. And CryptoPunks are 2D images, and they made these 3D images. In fact, if you can take one of these if you own them, and you can get the 3D modeling for it so that you'll be able to import it into games such as Sandbox or some of the other things. And so some of their vision for this has not rolled out. Do I think these will do well? Yes, but the entry price is so high, 3.1 ETH. And with ETH being, let's just say for round numbers, $3,000, you're talking about $9,000 for an entry level price, which is incredibly steep. So these are some of the things that have pumped. And so we've seen a lot of the wave go towards, I forget the name of these. I call them profile pick projects, because you can use these as your profile pick, like CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, which Bored Ape Yacht Club has had incredible returns. I'm not jumping into any of those projects. I know there's people every day looking at all the new stuff that's like that has that model, and they're trying to buy at the floor and then flip, and probably there's still some money to be made there. Just the risk is going up and up and up for every day that goes forward, because at some point that massive pump will end, and many of those Me Too projects that are just copying essentially what CryptoPunks and then Bored Ape Yacht Club did so successfully will dump. And I do not want to be holding something I paid 3 ETH for as it goes to 0.3 ETH or 0.03 ETH. So what am I looking at? Well, one of the projects I've covered is Spores, and they have this nice retracement going on. and I like retracements. So if we were to draw a fib retracement from the bottom, it went all the way up to here, and then it's retracing. It looks like it's going down to 3 cents. Now I loaded up on Spores at a good price, and I'm just holding it. And I didn't take any profits here. I guess if it hits 10 cents, I'll take some profits, but I haven't taken any profits on it yet. I'm just holding it. I'm glad it's come back down to a good entry price because you make your money on the buy. Now, this is still early stage project. It recently had its IDO. They have a long ways to go before you can see all the fruits of what they're doing, but they recently announced some partnerships with artists in the Asian market, which is where they're going first, which is smart because per capita, Asia tends to spend more money per capita in video game and NFT related items or skins and stuff for video gaming items than any other demographic, and so that's why they're really going after that space. And so even though I can't say I understand that space near as well as I wish, it's smart that they do, and they're going after that space and some of the celebrities and stuff that are famous in that space. So I'm a big fan of Spores. I'm also a big fan because one of the first blockchains, and they will integrate with most of the big blockchains so that you can mint NFTs on Cardano, you can mint them on Polka or Solana. One of the big chains they'll be going after in the early days is Cardano, which I'm really bullish on the Cardano space, and they even launched on CardStarter, which is one of the two great launch pads for the Cardano ecosystem. All right, another one I've been bullish on for a long time is Formation Finance. Now, I was hoping when they came out that it would come all the way down to 10 cents or below, and it never did, which is surprising because how bearish the market was when they launched. I can say this team works harder than any other team I've seen, and they communicate on the back end everything that they're doing, and so that I get updates that they send to a bunch of people. And I am impressed with how hard I've seen them work on the back end, and that's probably why they never hit an extremely attractive buy zone. Now, I like to buy cheap. If I can, I like to buy extremely cheap. And so it didn't ever come down to that 10-cent buy zone that I was really hoping for. But I am seeing this nice rounded bottom here. And this is what I look for good long-term pickups, is these kind of rounded bottom lows. Now, they will have a big token unlock in let's say a month and a half from now, that a bunch of their pre-sale investors will be getting a bunch of tokens dropped. So that's about 6 weeks in the future. It's got plenty of room to bounce out of this, but you do want to watch that date, and I don't know the exact time of that date. It would be September, October, somewhere in there. Now, it won't matter if the market's absolutely parabolic at that point, but if the market's kind of bearish or just barely bullish, that kind of thing will matter, and you'll see that day for the next few days a big price drop, which is a great time to take profits before it and possibly buy back in when a bunch get dropped on the market. But if the market is going completely parabolic, I don't know how many they sold total to pre-sale investors, but it probably won't have near as big of an effect. Okay, another one I covered, and I covered this 2 months ago, and you probably remember it if you followed my channel. It's with Drive, and essentially they're a blockchain competitor to Uber and Lyft. Now, this has everything to do with needing to be the right team and them going after the right demographic. So mostly they're going after the India demographic that they know very, very well. In fact, the drivers for Lyft and Uber are really dissatisfied in India because they keep cutting the rates for them. And so it's no longer becoming profitable for them to offer essentially taxi services. So because of that, that offers an entryway for a competitor to come in and beat them. And so when I heard what space they were going into, I was like, I really have to hear the business plan or the white paper and see how they can really run and make a go of it to be competitive in that space. So I was thinking probably the narrative would pump well during the bull market, but I don't know if this project can make it long term. Now, you probably saw that interview with the CEO, and she is brilliant, as well as she explains why there's so many pain points in India, and that as they went to look for drivers for this space, how drivers have been signing up in droves to drive for them. So, I mean, there's two problems in the space when you're trying to compete is you have to be able to get drivers and you have to be able to get riders. So if riders can save money and drivers can make more money, you create a huge win for both sides. And so they had done a beta test and it went tremendously well. So I was like, wow, okay, so I'm bullish on Drive, and I loaded up on Drive. Now, they're having this really interesting price action, which I don't understand why it's behaving like this. So big run up and then kind of retrace and then big run up, and it's just bouncing almost on this flat line. Maybe there is somebody, every time it gets higher, put sell pressure in. But then that also means there's a bunch of buy pressure that just in this zone, there's tons of selling and buying just going on. And all of a sudden, boop, it jumps up, retraces back down, and then it does another flat line for a while. So their price pressure is really, really interesting. I can't say I fully understand it. I do want to look at their market cap. So we don't know what their circulating supply is, but if we times this price by the fully diluted market cap is still pretty low. I mean, even if all their tokens were in circulation according to this token supply, that would mean that their market cap is around their fully diluted market cap is around 6 million. Man, unless I have that wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. I like that. Now, it is tradable on, here's how I always find out where it's tradable. Because there's so many scams, I come to the markets tab here. Okay, it's on PancakeSwap, and I literally click on this pairing. I make sure I change MetaMask over to the correct, so it's on the Binance Smart Chain, and I click on that pairing. I let it bring up the information for me. All right, let's check out another project I'm bullish on. Now, this is Polka Play, and their token is Polo, and they recently launched as well. Now, they're in the say social media space, and thinking about kind of like a decentralized Instagram. And I really think the social media giants have created the opportunity that would have happened from blockchain anyway, but because of some censorship and things going on, it's increased the dissatisfaction with them. And so it's probably created enough pressure that some blockchain-based competitors can come in and steal huge market share from them. Now, it's going to be a hard battle, but like IBM did this and allowed company that was a no-name company at the time, Microsoft, to come in and start small and grow huge and eventually dwarf IBM itself. Do I know what'll happen? No, I don't. So am I betting that during this bull run that some of the players in the space, their tokens will run tremendously? Yes, that's exactly the bet I'm making. And so I've loaded up on Polka Play. In fact, you're able to stake it over on BSC Station. And I changed the wallet that in so you can't see what I've earned, but essentially I have it staked over in this thing where earn BSCS by staking your Polo. Since I'm going to be holding it anyway, it's on the Binance Smart Chain. It costs so little to just go ahead and stake what I have and let it earn tokens for me while I'm just holding it, waiting for it to appreciate. I'm looking at the metrics over here. The first thing we look at is, okay, the price is just under a penny. Now the supply, when it is fully diluted, meaning 100% of the supply is unlocked, they have 1.8 billion tokens. What would that put that at? And that mean if it was every token was in circulation right now, it'd be an $18 million market cap? I think so. $18 million fully diluted market cap at present. I have no idea what the circulating supply is, but yeah, not bad. So like before, you come over to markets, click on Polka Swap here. It's also on Dodo BSC, which I don't know at all. It is on MEXC Global, which is more well known, but you see most of their trading supply happens right here on PancakeSwap. What else am I bullish on? Well, Matic has had a big retracement in their ecosystem. Particularly, they have a swap exchange on their ecosystem called QuickSwap. They had a big run, and so let's look at their token. And even though I'm a big fan of Wanchain, at least myself, I'm in a position I can diversify across multiples, and so I do. Quick swap or Matic and Wanchain accomplish some of the same things. I feel like Wanchain accomplishes more, but I'm diversified across this, and I use this downturn to pick up a bunch of quick swap, and it had this little bump here and then a retracement. And it did come as far down as almost $300, and so now it's back up to $592, so it's essentially doubled. But their market cap, 214 million. Could it go higher from here? Yeah, it could go to 10 or 100x from here. Do I know that it will? Well, it depends on how important the Polygon network becomes, because they're tied to that. As Polygon or Matic does well, then they tend to do very well. So I don't have a huge amount on this. I think I have about $10,000. And so it's not like I went big. For me, that's a small percentage of the portfolio. So it wasn't a big bet. It's just one of the ones I like that offers additional diversification. Okay, so my second largest holding is Wanchain, and I love where this price is at. Now, who knows? They have some big partnerships. They have some amazing cross-chain bridge technology. They have what's called trustless bridges. So right now, like Matic, as big as Matic is, and their market cap is a lot bigger. Let's go to CoinGecko, and let's go to Matic, and let's look at their market cap. It's number 18, and their market cap is $8.5 billion. Okay, so Wanchain can do a lot of the stuff that Matic can do, and a lot more. Look at where their market cap is. 133 million. So if they went like 60x from here, then their market cap would be the same as Matic, which is exciting. So Wanchain also has some DeFi that I use on called WanSwap, and also Zookeeper that I use, and you can see one of my past videos where I go over that. But I'm very big on Wanchain, and I don't know that this will be a home run. I just suspect that this has 100x potential. So I've been bullish on it since all the way back here is when I bought some during the bear market in general, and I loaded up a bunch more here and rode it all the way up. I did take a tiny bit of profits on it when it went high here. That came back down with most everything, and then it's still pretty cheap, and it formed this little W pattern. Now, I don't know, this W pattern had this little wick down. A lot of the market did that, where this is close to as low as that, and then it's had this jump up. Now, could it go down from here before it goes higher? It could. But this is one at 75 cents with a market cap of 133 million that I really think has potential, could go to, say, 13 billion. Now, I don't know that that will happen. They have good technology. If they marry that good technology with more partnerships and good marketing, I don't see why they couldn't hit that. And so Wanchain is one of my ones I'm most bullish on. So now, I will be at the lake with family this weekend. I will try to give you a few videos just using my iPhone while I'm there, just to give you an update on my thoughts. Hope you all are having a fantastic late summer, because my guess is going into winter, this winter is going to be life-changing for some. Now, I do share with you that if you make the commitment to stick around for 5 years, your chances of doing well in this market go way, way up. So why not do it, right? Why not be around for 5 years? I think we'll have another leg of the bull run that goes massive. I plan to take profits during that so that I'm very cash liquid when we eventually hit a bull market, and then I can buy a lot more for cheap. Also, I've been doing this since 2017, so this isn't my first bull run. This is my second bull run. And so if this is your first one, and for most of you it is, you make the most of your money. You'll make some if you're smart during your first bull run. You'll also kind of get some of your mistakes out of the way and learn some of the lessons, because you are always bad before you're good. But then if you take some profits, then you're cash rich for the bear market. Now, there is always a chance that there is no bear market. Could that happen? It could. In every bull market, they say this time is different. We won't have a bear market. And every time before this, the bear market has still followed. My guess is that's what will happen again, and I will be taking most of my profits on the way up. I might leave a little bit riding in case I'm wrong, but I doubt that I'm wrong on that. So where you make a lot of money is during that bear market, buying at complete lows, and then holding longer term for the following bull market. And that's where most people who start this cycle will become rich or have experienced full life-changing wealth. Is that second bull market. So why not be around for 5 years? I created this song for all you rainmakers, and I call you rainmakers or rainmaker army because you're making it rain for your future. So make it rain. Stick around for 5 years. Make some good decisions. Make a lot of good decisions, and it will. All right. Thanks for joining me, and Charlie's going to take it away.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was boring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time.